So let's give it up for Dr. Eric Lasker.
Wow, when they put vast in front of your experience, that means you've been around a long time, huh? So we're going to talk about faulty premises, medical errors, and the essential role of chiropractic. And I love this quote by Stephen Covey. I don't know if you know the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Have you heard of the book? Raise your hand if you've heard the book. Raise your hand, not 2 hands if you've heard. Yes? No? Good. Okay. So what he says in there, and this is very relevant to what's going on in our world today, this crazy world. Are we living in a crazy world? Yes or no?
Yes.
Crazy world. How many of you ever feel like we're at war? Raise your hand if you feel like we're at war. Come on, raise your hand high. Be honest. Raise your hand high. Okay, every day we feel like at war. It's funny. It's not funny, but I go to bed tired and wake up inspired every day because of what's going on, because of this quote and what's happening in the world. He said most people spend their whole lives climbing the ladder of success only to realize when they get to the top, the ladder has been leaning against the wrong wall. My colleagues, we have an entire system with the ladder leaning against the wrong wall. We have an entire healthcare system with the ladder leaning against the wrong wall. Now what he says, the second aspect of this quote, which most people don't use, but it's even more relevant than this quote. He says this. He says, if the ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step we take just gets us to the wrong place faster. We are moving, my chiropractic colleagues, we are moving at warp speed right now in the wrong place, into the wrong direction. We are driving our kids up a ladder that will take them to the wrong place. We are damaging a generation of children, which in my humble opinion is a part of the other side's plan, by the way. We are damaging a generation of children with misinformation, disinformation that has nothing to do with a virus. The greatest medical error is the premise. The greatest medical error is the premise. Leaning against the wrong wall. I want to show you a man. This guy came in to see me, and we're talking about children. This is medical errors in children. Guess how old this guy is? 55. Good guess. Good guess. He's actually older. He's 73 years old. What does this have to do with medical errors in children? Because this guy at 73 years old, when he was 6 years old, he was told from a fall that he had a broken neck, that he broke his neck at 6 years old. They put him in a body cast for 6 months. I know you guys are looking, where's the broken neck, right? You're thinking, where's the broken neck? How many of you see a broken neck? Does anybody see a broken neck? Nobody in the room sees a broken neck. At 6 years old, he was told that he had a broken neck. 6 months in a cast. Moving around, they take the cast off. He spends his whole life moving like this. Afraid to do anything, afraid to play outside, afraid to play with his brothers and sisters, afraid to play with his friends, afraid that if he jumps, if he falls, that something's going to happen and he's going to be paralyzed. And 73 years old now, that means he spent 66 years of his life living his life based on a faulty premise. He comes in scared to death to get adjusted. After 66 years living based on a faulty premise. Scared that you're going to do that, you're going to crack my neck. They told me a crack was going to hurt me. It's going to... I said, sit down. I have vast experience. Didn't we just cover that? We have vast experience. So he gets an adjustment, gets another one. His third visit, he comes in with the line of the month in the office. He says, oh my gosh, you're turning me into an owl. He literally says to me, you're turning me into an owl. He's moving his neck, you're turning me into an owl. Here's the point. This is a man, sweet man, nice man, kind man, family man, good man, funny man. Spends his entire life living based on a faulty premise, but not really living. in today. Think about all the faulty premises. I'm just going to cover I only have 15 minutes. If you come spend some time with me tomorrow, we're going to talk about community leadership in chiropractic practice, which is the single best source of new patients, is leadership, by the way. It's the single best source of new patients. Faulty premises. Egg yolks are bad. You can still get an egg white omelet in a restaurant. Is that the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your entire life? Margarine is better than butter. People are still eating plastic. Fat makes you fat. Germs cause disease. That is a faulty premise. That is a faulty premise. Vaccines make people healthier. That is a faulty premise. Do you know that never has been studied until 2020? There were 3 studies done in 2020. We're going to go over this in detail tomorrow. By medical people, medical groups from 3 different directions. They put out an amazing video. We're going to talk about those studies tomorrow. You know what they found? That people that are unvaccinated, that tiny percent of people that are actually the control group of this population, they have a fraction of the chronic disease compared to the rest of the population. A fraction of the chronic disease. Come on, we need leadership. We have a ladder leaning against the wrong wall. Nerves cannot regenerate. Come on, we're learning neuroplasticity every day. We learn more and more and more about neuroplasticity. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And there's so many more faulty premises. Chiropractors. Come on, we are essential. We have always been essential. Now we have to get there first. We have to get there first. We have to be the first one on the job to these families. You sit around, you've been beaten up. Come on, we've been beaten up. Come on, the government gave us all bunches of handouts because we were beaten up. So, okay, you didn't take the only people that I know that really took a big hit are the people that quit. Yes, people got sick. I know I'm not being a jerk. I know there are people that were hurt, people injured. I'm a sensitive, compassionate man. Sometimes probably so overly compassionate and empathetic, it drives my passion into the stratosphere. Because I know so much of it is based on faulty premises. I see these kids hiding their faces. You don't even know who they are. People will come up to me and they'll say, I'll be in the store, and I'll be like, hey, Dr. Blasker. And I'll be like, and then, oh! And they'll pull it down like, oh! Because they don't wear it when they come in our office. They take it off. It's the only place where they can find normalcy. We have to get there first. We have to get there first. Life expectancy is dropping. You know, Dr. Fab mentioned, the 100-year lifestyle. Life expectancy is the biggest drop since World War II. And is that because our innate intelligence is not adapting anymore? Is that because we are incapable of living longer? No, it's not that we're living longer, it's that we're killing our young people younger. That's why, that's what the research shows. And they say, for years, they say in this report that COVID is number 3. Well, that's using faulty numbers, not just faulty premises. So for years, medical errors was number 3. They replaced it with COVID, which is going to turn out to be the biggest medical error. I'm just going to use error because I'm going to be nice in the history of mankind. But here's what's even worse. Quality of life expectancy is going down. We have more chronic disease. Kids are not eating healthier. They can't go out. They're on their phones. They're playing games. They're sitting in bed. More. It's made them sicker, and they're doing it more. Come on, they need leadership. Chiropractors, we need to lead. Listen, if we have our profession, I'm 35 years this year, October, 35th year in practice, celebrating 35 years. I can slow down if I want to. I got to tell you, why would any of us put our wisdom on a shelf? Why would we stick our wisdom in a closet and rot away on 20 medications? Are you out of your freaking mind? Come on, we got to get to work. Do you know it takes 4 years to create a chiropractor after college? You're already in practice. Get to work. Get to work. Come on, people need it more than ever. Children's quality of life. We have so much great content. on 100yearlifestyle.com, and it's free. We built it for the world. We built it actually now and we have new websites for chiropractors, and we'll put it directly on your site. We have to deliver information. We have to. 100-year-old people are recovering from COVID, lots of them. You see it all the time, and you know what? They're the unvaccinated control group that are living longer. They didn't get there because of modern medicine. Some did, some did. Most of them got there because they just never died. Seriously, because they didn't know they were going to live this long. They just never died. And talk about germs and vulnerability. Listen, bacteria and viruses are necessary for life.
Yes.
That is indisputable. The problem is when they get out of balance because of bad food, bad choices, sitting around, being overweight. That's the problem. See, instead of having a war on germs, we need a war on vulnerabilities. We've declared a war on vulnerabilities. It's really like a love on vulnerability. We're just killing the vulnerabilities with love. So we wrote an ebook. Think about this. I was at my pool, walking around, and there was this worm. At first, it wasn't dead. It was moving. And then I come back an hour and a half later on a hot, sunny day, and it's dead. And there were ants all over the worm. Yeah, so here's the question. You ready? What killed the worm? Was it the ants? Wasn't the ants. It was the hot sun. It got dehydrated. It couldn't move. All of a sudden, one ant saw it, screamed out to the others, "Yo, worm!" Everybody showed up to feast on the worm. That's what happens in the body. I didn't see the worms I didn't see the ants before the worm died. The worm was moving along, no ants. The worm became vulnerable, the ants showed up. That's what happens in the body. The bacteria, they are scavengers of the body. Come on, we need to declare a war on vulnerabilities. We need to teach our kids to move. We have so many great articles. Superbugs on the war on germs. Maggots kill elephants. The germ theory is a faulty premise. It is one of the most significant medical errors ever in history. So we'll give you a free ebook. Go to 100yearlifestyle.com. It's about 60 pages. It's like 18 points. We put it on websites all over the country. At first, we started giving it out. And then we put it on everybody else, all of our people's sites, so they could give it out. I don't know, in 9 months, 100,000, I don't know how many we gave out. It's free. Why? Because people need to understand so they're not afraid. They're not afraid. Epidemic of nerve disorders, we've talked about that. How about going back to the vaccines? So this is a woman who, in one of our podcasts, I interviewed her, and the pullout of this particular podcast, the opening piece of it, she says, "What's with all the mandates? Why are we in such a hurry to mandate?" You know why she's so mad? She has one daughter, beautiful daughter. Her son, after his second shot, within 48 hours, is severely autistic. What's with all the mandates? We're mandating an experiment? We're mandating an experiment? What's with all the mandates? We have no idea where this is going to lead. Some of us do because we're seeing it. We have to understand that the ramifications of the choices that we have to have the guts, my colleagues, we have to have the guts to speak up and lead. We do. The world needs our leadership. They do. And maybe, after 35 years of practice, maybe I've gotten a little bit bolder over the years. I'll give you that. But I got news for you. We don't have time for you to wait. We need to, whatever level of leadership for all of us, we are creating a country of the sickest people ever in the history of the world. We are keeping alive. We are learning. Do you know how much money there is in creating and keeping alive a neurologically damaged generation? Trillions. It's sick. Sick. And guess what? That's not even considered a medical error. That's not even a medical error. That's normal procedure with no liability. It's not even a medical error. Come on, we got to really, listen, I remember thinking back, way back, taking care of so many kids, babies, kids, families. I had a lot of hair back then, too. And I remember Dr. Robert Mendelsohn, how many of you remember Robert Mendelsohn? Raise your hand. Right? The people's doctor, pediatrician. We need people like that. He wrote the book Confessions of a Medical Heretic. He spoke out. He got ostracized from his profession for speaking out, saying the things that chiropractors have been saying for decades. We need to say it louder, stronger, more than ever. We do it. We teach our people to do it. We're going to talk about it tomorrow when it comes to leadership, community leadership. We do a call with moms across America. They're training moms across America with these ideas. First Monday of every month, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a call with mothers all across the country. They are so hungry. They are so hungry for what you're talking about for leadership. So we speak and we talk to them. And they're walking into chiropractors' offices all over the country, driving an hour, hour and a half to find people that teach what we teach because they can't get it because we're too busy worried about backs and necks. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying the opportunity of truth and leadership is beyond what you can even imagine. This is a kid, scoliosis. You talk about 14-year-old kid, and they do this surgery, it doesn't work. Could you imagine it didn't work? Could you imagine it didn't work? So here's what they did. You ready? Talk about faulty premises. Here's what they did. They did that. This child is now a 14-year-old opioid addict. This is because not only did we not get there first, we haven't even gotten there yet. Come on, that's on us, chiropractors. That's on us. You're comfortable? I don't know how you could, maybe you are. There's got to be something inside of you. You know this is happening in the world. There's something inside of you that says, you know what? Maybe I'm not as comfortable, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm afraid to speak out. Listen, cancel culture, I reject cancel culture. Amen. I reject cancel culture. We're teaching our kids cancel culture. We need to speak up and lead, my colleagues. We are essential. And guess what? If next year they take it away, they take that label away, and maybe they gave it to us temporarily, just to kind of help out in a crisis. You know what? Screw that. They can give it to us, take it away. We have always been essential. We are more, if they took it away, we'd be even more essential. Thank you. Love that. Give her a round of applause. So, I got a minute. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to leave you with a poem. I love writing poems. This is what I brought for you. It goes like this. It takes nerve to grow. It takes nerve to thrive. It takes nerve to live your life fully alive. It takes nerve to discover. It takes nerve to excel. It takes nerve to empower yourself out of hell. Time will keep ticking. It's on your best side. It takes nerve to conquer the great divide. Chiropractic, you got to have nerve. Come on, let's go to work.